He told his best friend the words that would change his life forever. If she's black, I'm leaving. But when Maya walked through that restaurant door, something stopped Ethan in his tracks, and he didn't leave. What he didn't know was that a waitress had heard everything, recorded everything, and was about to expose him to the entire town. As his cruel joke became a viral scandal that threatened Maya's career and his reputation, Ethan faced a choice: run from his shame or confront the ugliness he'd been taught his whole life. This is the story of a man's public humiliation, a woman's quiet dignity, and a love that grew in the most impossible soil. Subscribe and comment below if you believe people can truly change, because what happens next will either restore your faith in humanity or break your heart. The smell of fried chicken and fresh bread filled Miller's family restaurant on a Tuesday evening. Ethan Walker drummed his fingers on the wooden table, his leg bouncing under it like a jackhammer. He checked his phone for the third time in 5 minutes. "Dude, relax." Jake leaned back in his chair across from him, a grin spreading across his face. "It's just a blind date." "That's the problem," Ethan said. He ran a hand through his sandy brown hair. "I don't even know what she looks like." "Your girlfriend could be setting me up with anyone." Jake laughed and took a sip of his beer. "Sarah wouldn't do you dirty like that. She says this girl's nice, works at a preschool." "A preschool teacher," Ethan made a face. "So she's probably all rainbows and feelings. Better than the last one you dated. What was her name, the one who threw your keys in the lake?" "Amanda. And she had her reasons." "Yeah, you forgot her birthday." "I was working." Ethan shifted in his seat. The restaurant buzzed around them, families laughing, silverware clinking, a baby crying somewhere in the back. He felt his stomach twist. Why had he agreed to this? Jake's eyes sparkled with mischief. "So what's your type anyway, since you're so picky?" Ethan shrugged. "I don't know, blonde, brunette, just normal, you know." "Normal." Jake shook his head. "Real specific there, buddy." Ethan lowered his voice, leaning forward, his face flushed red. "Look, man, I'm just saying, if she's black, I'm leaving." The words hung in the air like smoke. Jake's smile vanished. "What?" "I'm just not, it's not my thing, okay?" Ethan looked away, his jaw tight. "Nothing personal, just a preference." "That's messed up, Ethan." "Whatever. You asked." Jake opened his mouth to say more, but movement caught Ethan's eye. A young waitress stood 3 feet away, holding 2 menus. Her dark eyes fixed on Ethan. She'd heard every word. Her face went hard as stone. "Are your tables ready?" she said, her voice flat. She set the menus down with a sharp snap and walked away. "Nice job," Jake muttered. "Real classy." Ethan felt heat crawl up his neck. She shouldn't have been listening. She was doing her job. Jake leaned forward, his voice low and angry. "You know what? Maybe you should leave. Save everyone the trouble." "I didn't mean—" "Yeah, you did. That's the problem." Ethan looked down at his hands. Rough, calloused from years of construction work. Good hands that built things, fixed things. But right now they felt dirty. The waitress walked past their table again, headed toward the kitchen. She pulled out her phone, her fingers flying across the screen. Ethan caught a glimpse of her face. She wasn't just angry, she was disappointed. He'd seen that look before. On his mother's face when he'd gotten suspended in high school. On his boss's face when he showed up late. It was worse than anger. "I should probably go," Ethan said quietly. "Yeah, probably." Jake finished his beer and stood up. "I'll tell Sarah the date's off. You can walk home." "Come on, man, don't be like that." "Don't be like what? Decent?" Jake threw a 20 on the table. "Figure it out, Ethan, before you end up alone." He walked out, leaving Ethan sitting there in the noise and warmth of the restaurant. Families kept eating, couples kept talking, the world kept spinning. But Ethan felt like he'd just broken something important. Morning sunlight poured through the windows of Little Stars Preschool, painting everything gold. Maya Brooks sat cross-legged on the floor, surrounded by 4-year-olds with paint-covered fingers and bright smiles. "Miss Maya, look!" A little girl named Emma held up her paper. Blue and green swirls covered most of it. "It's the ocean." "That's beautiful, sweetheart." Maya smiled, her voice warm as honey. "I can almost hear the waves." "Can we go to the ocean?" a boy named Marcus asked. Paint dotted his nose. "Maybe on a field trip someday." Maya stood up, brushing off her jeans. Her curls were pulled back in a ponytail, and she wore a soft yellow sweater that made her brown skin glow. "But right now, it's clean-up time." The children groaned, but they started gathering their supplies. Maya loved this part of her day. The mess, the laughter, the simple joy of watching kids discover the world. It made sense. It was safe. Unlike dating. The classroom door opened, and Chloe Rivera walked in, carrying 2 coffee cups from the shop down the street. Her scrubs were wrinkled from a night shift at the hospital, but her smile was wide and awake. "Coffee delivery for the best teacher in town," Chloe announced. The kids swarmed her. "Miss Chloe, hey little monsters." She laughed and handed out the high fives they demanded before making her way to Maya. "Can we talk? Adult stuff." Maya took the coffee gratefully. "Give me 2 minutes." She got the children settled with books in the reading corner, then joined Chloe by the window. Outside, parents were starting to arrive for pickup. "So," Chloe said, her eyes bright, "Sarah's boyfriend has this friend." "No? You didn't even let me finish." Maya sipped her coffee. "I know where this is going. Another blind date. Another disaster. No thank you. This one's different. That's what you said about David." "David was... okay, that was bad." Chloe winced. "But he had that weird thing about feet. How was I supposed to know?" "Background checks exist for a reason." Chloe grabbed Maya's arm, her voice dropping to a pleading whisper. "Come on, Maya. You haven't dated in 8 months. Not since Marcus." The name hit like a slap. Maya's ex. The one who'd promised forever and delivered heartbreak. She looked away, focusing on the kids. Emma was showing Marcus her ocean painting. Simple. Pure. "I'm fine alone," Maya said. "I know you are. You're strong. You're amazing. But you're also lonely." Chloe's voice softened. "I see it in your eyes, girl. You miss having someone." Maya's throat tightened. She did miss it. The good-night texts, the shared dinners, the feeling of being chosen. But the risk felt too big. Her heart had barely survived the last break. "What if he's terrible?" Maya asked. "Then you leave. Simple." Chloe pulled out her phone, showing Maya a picture. "His name's Ethan. He's a contractor. Builds stuff. Sarah says he's nice. A little awkward, but sweet." The man in the photo had kind eyes and an uncertain smile. He wore a flannel shirt and looked like he'd be more comfortable with a hammer than a phone. "One dinner," Chloe said. "That's it. Not destiny. Just food and conversation. If you hate it, I'll never ask again." Maya looked at her students, at Emma's ocean, at Marcus's bright eyes. She taught children to be brave every day. Maybe it was time to take her own advice. "Fine," she said. "One dinner." Chloe squealed and pulled her into a hug. "You won't regret this." Maya laughed despite herself. "When is it?" "Tonight. Miller's Family Restaurant, 7 o'clock. "Tonight?" Maya pulled back. "That's so soon." "No time to overthink it." Chloe winked. "Trust me, this is going to be good." As Chloe left, Maya stood by the window, watching parents collect their children. Hugs and goodbyes. Simple moments. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. A text from Chloe. "Reservation confirmed. You got this." Maya took a deep breath. Maybe she did. Or maybe she was about to make a huge mistake. Ethan arrived at Miller's 20 minutes early. He couldn't help it. His mother had drilled punctuality into him since childhood. Early is on time is late, late is unacceptable. He sat at the same table from the night before. Different waitress this time, thank God. He couldn't face the one who'd overheard his stupid comment. Jake's words still echoed in his head. "Figure it out before you end up alone." Was he that bad? He'd never thought of himself as racist. He worked with guys from all backgrounds on construction sites. He was polite, professional, but Jake had looked at him like he was garbage last night. Maybe he was. Ethan checked his phone. Sarah had texted him the woman's name this morning. Maya. Pretty name. She'd also sent a photo. He'd looked at it once, quickly, then shoved his phone in his pocket. He pulled it out now. His hands felt clammy. The woman in the photo was beautiful. Warm brown eyes, natural hair pulled up, a smile that seemed to light up the screen. She wore a yellow dress and stood in front of what looked like a classroom, and she was black. Ethan's stomach dropped to his knees. His heart hammered. Every terrible word he'd said last night came flooding back. The waitress's disappointed face. Jake's anger. "If she's black, I'm leaving." He stood up. His legs felt weak. He could walk out right now. Text Sarah that something came up. A work emergency. His truck broke down. Anything. But then he'd be exactly what Jake said he was. Ethan sat back down. His mouth felt dry. He ordered a water from the passing waitress. Not the same one from last night, he noted again with relief. His mind raced. Maybe he could get through one dinner. Be polite. Make an excuse after, and never see her again. That's what decent people did, right? The restaurant door opened. Ethan's head snapped up. Maya walked in. She wore a deep red dress that hugged her curves, and her hair fell in soft curls around her shoulders. Gold earrings caught the light. She moved with quiet confidence, scanning the room until her eyes found his. She smiled, a real smile that reached her eyes. Ethan couldn't breathe. She walked toward him and he scrambled to his feet, nearly knocking over his water glass. His hands didn't know where to go. His mouth wouldn't work. "Ethan?" she asked, her voice like warm honey. "Yeah, yes, hi." He stuck out his hand like an idiot. "Maya? That's me." She shook his hand. Her grip was firm and warm. "Nice to meet you." "You too. Really nice. Very nice." He was babbling. "Stop babbling. Please, sit down." They sat. Maya placed her purse on the empty chair beside her and folded her hands on the table. She looked calm, comfortable, like she did this all the time. Ethan felt like he might throw up. "Chloe speaks very highly of you," Maya said, breaking the silence. "Jake says good things about you too." Ethan's voice came out too loud. He cleared his throat. "I mean through Sarah, you know." "I do." Maya's smile stayed in place, but something flickered in her eyes. Curiosity? Concern? "You okay? You seem nervous." "Just don't do this much. Dating, I mean. Blind dates." He was gripping his water glass so hard, his knuckles went white. "Work keeps me pretty busy." "What kind of work?" "Construction. I run a small company. We do renovations, new builds, whatever people need." "That sounds interesting." Maya leaned forward slightly. "So you build things?" "Yeah, fix things too. Broken decks, bad roofs." He was starting to breathe a little easier. Talking about work helped. "It's good work, honest." "I like that." Maya's smile warmed. "Honest work. I teach preschool, so I'm around honest little people all day. 4-year-olds don't lie very well." Ethan laughed despite himself. "I bet." The waitress appeared. Not the one from last night, he reminded himself for the third time. They ordered. Maya chose the chicken pasta. Ethan got the same thing without really thinking about it. As the waitress left, Ethan noticed another server across the room, the young woman from last night. She was watching their table, her eyes dark and knowing. His blood turned cold. "So tell me," Maya said, pulling his attention back, "why'd you agree to a blind date? Most guys I know run from these things." Ethan forced himself to focus on her warm eyes and easy smile, on the way her voice made him feel like maybe everything would be okay. "Honestly, Jake wouldn't stop bugging me about it." He rubbed the back of his neck. "Said I work too much, need to get out more." "Do you? Work too much?" "Probably." He met her eyes. "What about you? Why'd you say yes?" Maya's smile faltered for just a second. "Chloe can be very persuasive, and I figured, why not? It's just dinner." "Just dinner," Ethan repeated. The words felt hollow. They talked about safe things, her students, his latest project, the weather, surface-level conversation that danced around anything real. But Ethan felt the weight of his words from last night, pressing on his chest like a stone. The food arrived. Ethan couldn't taste it. Maya ate slowly, occasionally glancing up at him with those warm, searching eyes. "You seem distracted," she said finally. "Sorry, I'm—" He what, terrified, ashamed, drowning in regret? "I'm just not good at this." "At what? Eating?" Maya's lips curved up. "Because you're doing fine." He laughed, a real one this time. "At talking to pretty women in restaurants." "Well, that was smooth." Maya's eyes sparkled. "Maybe you're better than you think." But then the waitress from last night appeared at their table, the young woman with dark eyes and a disappointed face. She held a water pitcher, but she wasn't looking at Ethan. She was looking at Maya. "Can I refill your water?" she asked Maya, her voice careful. "Sure, thank you." Maya held out her glass. As the waitress poured, she leaned down slightly. Her voice dropped to barely a whisper, but Ethan heard every word. "He's the one who said it." Maya's hand froze around her glass. "What?" "Last night. He said if his date was black, he'd leave." The waitress straightened up, her eyes flashing. "Thought you should know." The restaurant noise faded. Everything went quiet except for Ethan's heartbeat thundering in his ears. Maya set down her glass very carefully. Her face went still, not angry, not hurt, just blank, like she'd pulled down a shade over every emotion. "Is that true?" she asked Ethan. Her voice was calm, too calm. Ethan's mouth opened. Nothing came out. "Is it true?" Maya repeated. Yes." The words scraped out of him. "But I didn't know. I didn't mean—" "You didn't mean what?" Maya's voice stayed level, but her eyes blazed. "You didn't mean to be racist? Or you didn't mean to get caught?" "It wasn't like that." "Then what was it like?" She folded her napkin and placed it on the table. Please explain it to me. Ethan felt the walls closing in. Other diners were starting to look. The waitress stood nearby, arms crossed. Jake's voice echoed, "Figure it out." "I was nervous," Ethan said. "I said something stupid." "I'm sorry. You said something hateful." Maya stood up, her dress swirling around her. "And the only reason you stayed is because you didn't want to look bad." "No, that's not. Thank you for your time." Maya picked up her purse. Her hands shook slightly, but her voice stayed steady. "And Ethan, next time you want to be honest, try being honest before someone else has to do it for you." She walked toward the door. Every step was measured, graceful, like she was holding herself together with pure will. Ethan jumped to his feet. "Maya, wait!" She didn't stop. He threw cash on the table and ran after her, dodging tables and startled diners. The cold night air hit him as he burst through the door. Maya was already halfway to her car. "Maya, please!" He jogged to catch up. She spun around, and the calm mask finally cracked. Tears shone in her eyes, but her voice came out hard. "What do you want, Ethan? An apology? You already said you're sorry." "I am sorry. You don't even know me." She stepped back. "You looked at a photo, saw my skin, and decided I wasn't worth your time. Do you know how that feels?" "No." His voice broke. "I don't, and I can't. But I was wrong. You're right. You were." Maya wrapped her arms around herself. The parking lot lights cast shadows across her face. "I've dealt with people like you my whole life. People who smile to my face but say things like that when they think no one's listening. I'm tired, Ethan, so tired. I'm not like that. Aren't you?" She tilted her head. "Because half an hour ago you were planning to walk out on me, weren't you?" He couldn't lie. "Not now." "Yes, thank you." Maya nodded once. "At least that's honest." She turned toward her car again. Ethan watched her go, his heart breaking in ways he didn't know were possible. She'd given him kindness, warmth, a real chance, and he'd been too ignorant to deserve any of it. "I wish I could take it back," he called out. Maya stopped but didn't turn around. "You can't. That's how words work." Her voice drifted back to him on the cool night breeze. "They stay in the world. They hurt people, and you don't get to unsay them. So what do I do? You think, really think, about why you said it in the first place." She looked back at him over her shoulder. "And maybe next time, you'll do better." She got in her car. The engine started. Ethan stood there on the curb, hands in his pockets as she drove away. The red taillights disappeared around the corner. He'd stayed, just like he'd joked he wouldn't. But staying had only made everything worse. Maya pulled into her apartment complex with tears streaming down her face. She'd held it together in the restaurant, held it together in the parking lot, but alone in her car, she finally let it break. The hurt felt old and new at the same time. How many times had she heard those words in different forms? Too dark, too ethnic, not what we're looking for. She'd built up armor over the years, thick walls to protect herself, but Ethan's words had slipped through cracks she didn't know existed. She sat in the car for 10 minutes crying into her hands. Then she wiped her face, grabbed her purse, and walked up to her second-floor apartment. Inside, she kicked off her heels and collapsed on the couch. Her phone buzzed. "Chloe." "How'd it go?" Maya stared at the message. How did she even begin to explain? She called instead. Chloe picked up on the first ring. "So?" Chloe's voice bubbled with excitement. "Tell me everything. Was he sweet? Did you—" "Wait, what's wrong?" Maya's silence said it all. "Oh no, what happened?" Maya told her. Everything. The nice start, the awkward conversation, the waitress, the words that had ended it all. By the time she finished, Chloe was cursing in Spanish. "That pendejo. I'm going to kill him. No, wait, I'm going to kill Jake first for setting this up. It's not Jake's fault. The hell it isn't. He should have known. He should have—" Chloe's voice cracked. "I'm so sorry, Maya. I thought he was nice. Sarah said he was nice. Maybe he is nice. To some people." Maya pulled a blanket over her legs. "Just not to people who look like me. That's not nice. That's trash." Maya laughed despite herself. "Yeah, trash." They talked for another hour. Chloe offered to come over, but Maya said no. She needed to be alone, to think, to remember why she'd built those walls in the first place. After they hung up, Maya sat in the dark living room. Outside her window, the city hummed. Cars passed. People lived their lives. The world kept spinning. She'd survived Marcus breaking her heart. She'd survived this too. But God, she was tired. Ethan drove home in silence. His truck felt too small, his thoughts too loud. He kept seeing Maya's face. The hurt in her eyes, the way she'd held herself together even as he'd shattered something between them. He'd done that. His words, his ignorance. At home, he poured a glass of whiskey he didn't drink. He sat on his couch, staring at the wall. His phone buzzed several times. Jake. He ignored it. Around midnight, he finally opened his texts. Jake, Sarah told me what happened. Man, I'm sorry. Jake, I know you're probably feeling terrible. You should. Jake, but if you really want to make it right, figure out why you said it. Don't just feel bad, do better. Ethan set down his phone. Do better. How? He'd apologized. Maya had walked away. What else was there? He thought about his father, the man who'd taught him to use a hammer and fix a roof, who'd also made comments about those people and their neighborhoods. Words Ethan had absorbed like water into wood. He'd never questioned it before, never examined why he thought the things he thought, but Maya's voice echoed, "Next time, think before you speak." Ethan grabbed his laptop. He didn't know what he was looking for, but he typed anyway. How to unlearn prejudice, how to be better. Articles and videos flooded his screen. Hours of reading. Stories from people who looked like Maya. Their pain, their anger, their exhaustion. By the time the sun rose, Ethan felt like he'd been taken apart and put back together wrong. Or maybe right for the first time. He had to see her, had to try again. Not to fix things, he knew he couldn't do that, but to show her he was listening, that her words had landed somewhere real. Wednesday morning arrived cold and grey. Maya got her students settled with quiet activities, her mind elsewhere. The kids sensed her mood and were gentler than usual. Emma even gave her a hug without being asked. "You okay, Miss Maya?" the little girl asked. "I'm okay, sweetheart." Maya kissed the top of her head. "Just a little tired. My mommy says tea helps when you're tired. Your mommy's very smart." Chloe showed up during lunch with sandwiches and an angry face. "I told Jake off this morning. He feels terrible. He didn't do anything wrong. He vouched for that guy, that's something." Chloe unwrapped her sandwich aggressively. "Sarah's mad too. She said Ethan seemed normal, quiet, but nice. Maybe he is normal." Maya picked at her food. "Maybe that's the problem. Normal people say things like that all the time. That doesn't make it okay." "I know." Maya sighed. I don't want to be angry. I'm tired of being angry." "You're allowed to be angry. I know that too." They ate in silence for a while. Outside the window, parents dropped off late arrivals. The world kept moving. Maya wanted to move with it, to let this go and focus on her kids and her life. But the hurt sat heavy in her chest. After lunch, she took the kids outside for recess. They ran and played, their laughter filling the air. Maya smiled, watching them. This was real. This was good. Then she saw the truck. A beat-up Ford pulled into the school parking lot. Ethan got out, holding flowers. Sunflowers, bright and yellow. He looked nervous, scared. Maya's stomach dropped. Parents on the playground turned to look. Whispers started. Ethan walked toward the fence, toward her. His eyes found hers across the playground. "Miss Maya, who's that?" Emma tugged on her hand. "Just someone I know, baby." Maya kept her voice calm. "Stay here with the other kids, okay?" She walked to the fence. Ethan stopped on the other side, the flowers held awkwardly in front of him like a shield. "What are you doing here?" Maya asked quietly. "I wanted to apologize, for real, not in a parking lot." He held out the flowers. "These are for you. You can't just show up at my work, Ethan." "I know. I'm sorry. But He looked at the ground, then back at her. "I couldn't sleep last night. I kept thinking about what you said, about thinking before I speak. And you were right. I didn't think. I just repeated things I'd heard my whole life, things I never questioned." His voice cracked. "That doesn't excuse it. Nothing excuses it. But I'm trying to understand, to be better." Maya wanted to stay angry, wanted to tell him to leave, but something in his eyes looked different, raw, real. "Apologies don't fix what people think deep down," she said. "I know." He lowered the flowers. "But I'm not asking you to forgive me. I just wanted you to know that your words mattered. They hit me, hard, and I'm listening." Parents were definitely watching now. Maya felt their eyes on her back. Tomorrow the gossip would spread. The black teacher and the white man who'd insulted her. Perfect fuel for small-town talk. "If you really mean it," Maya said slowly, "then prove it, by how you live. Not by flowers or words, by your actions." Ethan nodded. "Okay, I will." "Good." Maya turned to go back to her students. "Maya?" She stopped. "Thank you," he said quietly, "for telling me the truth, even when it hurt." Maya didn't answer. She walked back to the playground, to Emma and Marcus and all the other bright, honest faces that needed her. Behind her, she heard Ethan's truck start and drive away. The flowers lay on the fence post, bright against the grey sky. That night, lying in bed, Maya thought about his face, the genuine regret, the way he'd listened without making excuses or demanding forgiveness. Maybe people could change, or maybe that was just hope talking. Either way, she closed her eyes and tried to sleep, knowing tomorrow would bring new questions, from Chloe, from the other teachers, from herself. But tonight, she just needed rest. In his apartment across town, Ethan lay awake too, the internet still open on his laptop, articles still unread, a long road ahead. He'd stayed at the restaurant when he'd wanted to leave. Now he had to figure out why he'd wanted to leave in the first place, and somehow, some way, become someone who deserved a second chance. 2 days passed like weeks. Maya threw herself into work, painting with her students and planning lessons that required all her focus. Chloe called twice a day. Her mother called once, somehow already knowing something had happened. "Baby, you sound tired," Mrs. Brooks said over the phone Thursday evening. "I'm fine, Mama. Don't lie to your mother. What happened?" Maya told her a version of the story. Not all of it, just enough. Her mother listened in that way she had, where silence said more than words. "And now?" Mrs. Brooks finally asked. "Now nothing. It's over." "Is it?" Maya paused, folding laundry in her living room. "What do you mean? You said he came to apologize, that he looked sincere. So? So you're still thinking about him?" "I can hear it in your voice," her mother sighed. "Maya, I'm not telling you what to do. Lord knows you've got a good head on your shoulders, but don't close yourself off completely. Sometimes people surprise us. Sometimes they disappoint us too. Yes, they do, but that's life, baby. We get disappointed, we get hurt, and then we decide if we're going to let that stop us from living." After they hung up, Maya sat on her couch with the laundry basket. Her mother's words circled in her head. She'd built such high walls after Marcus. Maybe too high, but walls kept you safe, didn't they? Friday morning, Maya stopped at Brood Awakening, the coffee shop near the school. She needed something strong to face the day. The whispers at work had started. Nothing direct, but she felt the looks, the questions behind polite smiles. The shop smelled like cinnamon and roasted beans. Maya ordered her usual caramel latte and stepped aside to wait. The morning rush filled the small space with chatter and the hiss of the espresso machine. The door chimed. Maya glanced up. Ethan walked in. Their eyes met. His widened slightly. He looked like he might turn around and leave, but then he straightened his shoulders and got in line behind her. Maya's heart hammered. She focused on the menu board even though she'd already ordered. "Maya," his voice came from right behind her. Close, but not too close. She turned. "Ethan." "Hi." He shoved his hands in his jacket pockets. He wore work clothes, jeans, boots, a flannel shirt with paint stains. His hair was messy like he'd overslept. "I didn't know you came here. Most mornings before work. I usually hit the drive-through on Route 9, but my truck's in the shop, so—" He trailed off. The silence stretched awkward and thick. "Maya, caramel latte," the barista called. She grabbed her cup. Ethan stepped up to order. She should leave, walk out, go to work. But her feet wouldn't move. He ordered black coffee, simple. Then he turned to her, his face uncertain. "Can I buy you another? Or a muffin? Something?" "I have coffee." "I know, I just—" He rubbed the back of his neck. "I wanted to talk, if that's okay. No pressure, just 5 minutes." Maya looked at the door, at freedom, at safety. Then she looked at his face, at the dark circles under his eyes, at the genuine hope mixed with fear. 5 minutes, she said. They found a small table by the window. Ethan wrapped his hands around his coffee cup like he needed something to hold on to. Maya waited. She wasn't going to make this easy. "I've been reading," Ethan said finally. "A lot. About everything. Why people think the way I thought. Where it comes from. And I realized I never questioned anything. My dad said things. My buddies said things. I just absorbed it all like it was normal." He met her eyes. "But it's not normal. It's wrong. And I'm sorry. You said that already." "I know." He leaned forward. "But I wanted you to know I'm not just saying words. I'm trying to understand. Really understand." Maya sipped her coffee. It burned her tongue, but she welcomed the distraction. "Why does it matter what I think? Because you were right about everything and because—" He hesitated. "Because I can't stop thinking about how I made you feel, how I hurt you without even knowing you. That's not who I want to be, but it's who you were. On Tuesday night. Yes. He didn't flinch from it. It was. Maya studied him, the honesty in his face, the way he didn't make excuses or ask for anything, just laid it out bare. I appreciate that, she said carefully. I do. But Ethan, I've heard apologies before, from people who swore they'd change, and they did for a while, until they didn't. I get it. Trust has to be earned. Yes, it does. So let me earn it. The words came out rushed, desperate. Let me show you I'm different, that I can be better. How? I don't know yet, but I'll figure it out. He tried a small smile. I'm good at building things. Maybe I can build a better version of myself. Maya felt something crack inside her chest, something small but significant. That was almost smooth. Was it? His smile grew. I've been practicing in my truck. She laughed. Actually laughed. It surprised them both. Okay, Maya said. Okay? Let's start over. Clean slate. She stuck out her hand across the table. Hi, I'm Maya Brooks. I teach preschool and I don't tolerate nonsense. Ethan's face lit up. He shook her hand gently. Ethan Walker. I build stuff and I'm trying to be less of an idiot. That's honest. I'm learning from the best. They talked for 20 minutes instead of 5, about small things, safe things. She told him about Emma's ocean painting. He told her about a deck he was building that wouldn't stay level. The conversation flowed easier than Tuesday night. When Maya finally checked her phone, she yelped, I'm going to be late. They rushed out together. Ethan walked her to her car, his long strides matching her quick ones. Thank you, he said as she opened her door, for giving me another chance. This isn't a chance, Ethan, it's just coffee. But her voice was gentle. The rest you have to earn. I will. She drove to work with a strange feeling in her stomach. Not quite hope. Not quite fear. Something in between. Across town, Chloe spotted them through the coffee shop window from her car. She grabbed her phone immediately, texting Sarah, You're not going to believe what I just saw. Monday morning arrived bright and cold. Maya pulled into the school parking lot and noticed the construction equipment. Orange cones, a fenced-off area where the old playground used to be. We're getting a new playground, Emma announced as soon as Maya entered the classroom. With swings and a big slide. I heard. Maya hung up her jacket. It's very exciting. Throughout the morning, she heard the construction sounds, saws buzzing, hammers pounding, men's voices calling to each other. During recess, she took the kids to the front yard instead of the back, away from the work. But at lunch, curiosity got the better of her. She walked to the fence separating the playground from the school. 3 men worked in the space, moving equipment and measuring stakes in the ground. One of them straightened up, wiping his forehead. Ethan. Maya's breath caught. He wore a work belt loaded with tools, safety glasses, and a t-shirt despite the cold. He turned and saw her. Surprise crossed his face, then something else. Pleasure. He raised a hand in greeting. She waved back, feeling suddenly silly, like a teenager with a crush. Ethan said something to his crew and walked over. He pulled off his gloves as he approached the fence. Fancy meeting you here, he said. You're building our playground. Walker Construction got the bid last month. I didn't realize this was your school until I saw the address this morning. He grinned. Small world. Very small. Maya looked past him at the torn-up ground. How long will it take? 3 weeks? Maybe 4. We're doing it right. New equipment, rubber surfacing, shade structures. Your kids are going to love it. They already do. Emma hasn't stopped talking about the big slide. Emma? Ethan's eyes warmed. The little girl with the ocean painting? You remembered. I remember everything you told me. The words hung between them. Maya felt her cheeks heat. Well, I should get back. Lunch duty. Right, yeah. Ethan put his gloves back on. Hey, Maya. She paused. I'm glad it's your school. Gives me a chance to show you I'm good at what I do. I'm sure you are. And maybe, he hesitated, maybe we could grab coffee again sometime, when I'm not covered in dirt. Maya bit her lip. This was moving somewhere, becoming something. Was she ready? Maybe, she said. His smile could have powered the whole school. I'll take that. The days developed a rhythm. Maya taught her students. Ethan built the playground. Their paths crossed naturally, a wave across the fence, a quick conversation during her lunch break. Nothing heavy, nothing forced, but the kids noticed. Miss Maya, is that your boyfriend? Marcus asked one afternoon, pointing at Ethan through the window. No, sweetheart. He's just building the playground. But he waves at you special. Special how? Like my daddy waves at my mommy. The other teachers noticed too. Mrs. Chen, who taught 2nd grade, cornered Maya in the break room. So there's a handsome contractor who keeps looking at you. He's just being friendly. Friendly. Mrs. Chen smiled knowingly. He's cute. Little rough around the edges, but cute. Maya didn't know how to respond. Was Ethan cute? Yes. Was there something happening? Maybe. Did she want to talk about it? Absolutely not. But small towns were like that. Everyone noticed everything. Wednesday afternoon, something changed. Maya was outside with her class when a parent arrived early for pickup. Rick Donovan, Marcus's father. A different Marcus. Not the sweet boy in her class. This Marcus was in first grade, and his father was known for being difficult. Rick walked straight past the sign-in desk and onto the playground. He zeroed in on a little girl named Sophia, who was playing on the swings with Maya's Marcus. "Sophia, come here." Rick's voice carried across the yard. The little girl jumped down, her mixed-race features tightening with anxiety. Maya started walking over, her teacher instincts kicking in. "Mr. Donovan, you need to sign in at the office first," she called out. "I'm just getting my kid." But he wasn't looking at his son. He was glaring at Sophia. "Stay away from her, Marcus. Her kind isn't worth your time." Maya's blood ran cold. "Excuse me. You heard me. Mixed-race brat probably doesn't even know who her real father is." Sophia's eyes filled with tears. She was 6 years old. Before Maya could respond, a voice cut through the air, deep and firm. "That's enough." Ethan stood at the fence gate, having heard everything. He unlatched it and walked onto the playground, his face hard. "This isn't your business," Rick snarled. "You just made it my business." Ethan positioned himself between Rick and the children. "You don't talk to kids that way ever. Who the hell do you think you are? Someone who knows better than to be cruel to children." Ethan's voice stayed calm, but his hands were clenched at his sides. "Your son is right there watching you. Is this what you want to teach him?" Rick's face turned purple. "I don't need lectures from some construction worker." "Then don't give me reasons to give them." Ethan didn't move, didn't back down. "Apologize to the little girl and leave, or I'll make sure every parent here knows what you said." The playground had gone silent. Other parents had arrived and were watching. Rick looked around, seeing the judgment in their faces. He grabbed his son's hand roughly. "Come on, Marcus. We're leaving." He stormed off. His son looked back once at Sophia, confusion on his young face. Ethan knelt down in front of Sophia, his voice gentled completely. "Hey, sweetie, you okay?" Sophia nodded, but tears streamed down her cheeks. Maya hurried over, pulling the little girl into her arms. "You're beautiful and wonderful," Maya whispered. "Don't listen to people like that. They're just scared and small." She carried Sophia inside to call the girl's parents. When she came back out, Ethan was still there talking quietly to the other children, explaining that sometimes grown-ups say mean things, but that doesn't make them true. Maya watched him. This man who'd said his own terrible thing less than 2 weeks ago, now defending a child without hesitation, speaking up when he could have stayed silent. When the kids went back to playing, Ethan walked over to her. His face was flushed, his hands still shaking slightly. "That guy's a piece of work," he said. "Yes, he is." Maya looked at him carefully. "Thank you for standing up for her." "I couldn't not." Ethan met her eyes. "A few weeks ago, I might have stayed quiet, told myself it wasn't my problem, but I'm done being that person. I can see that." "Can you?" His voice dropped. "Because I meant what I said, Maya, about changing, about being better. That little girl's face." He shook his head. "That's what my words could do to someone, to you. And I hate it." Maya felt tears prick her eyes. She blinked them back. "You did good today, Ethan. Just trying to do the right thing." "Well, keep trying." He smiled. Small, but real. "Yes, ma'am." That evening, Maya called Chloe and told her everything. About the coffee shop, about Ethan working at the school, about what happened with Rick Donovan. "Girl," Chloe breathed. "That's character development. Don't make it sound like a movie. I'm serious. He defended that baby without thinking twice. That's not fake, that's real change." Maya lay on her couch, phone pressed to her ear. "I'm starting to believe him, Chloe." "Is that stupid?" "It's not stupid. It's brave." Chloe's voice softened. "But be careful, okay? Your heart's been through enough. I know. But also, don't be so careful that you miss something good." After they hung up, Maya sat in the dark. Outside her window, stars were appearing. She thought about Ethan's face when he'd stood up to Rick, the certainty in his voice, the way he'd gentled for Sophia. People could change. She'd always believed that, taught it to her students every day. Maybe it was time to believe it for herself, too. Thursday after school, Ethan stayed late working on the playground. Most of his crew had left, but he wanted to finish securing the fence posts before dark. The work helped him think, cleared his head. He'd been thinking a lot about Maya, about the way she looked at him now compared to that first night. The wariness was still there, but something else too, something that felt like trust starting to bloom. He didn't want to mess this up. Knock knock. Ethan turned. Maya stood at the fence with 2 paper cups. I brought lemonade from the teacher's lounge. It's terrible, but it's cold. Terrible cold lemonade sounds perfect. He walked over, accepting the cup gratefully. Thanks. They stood on opposite sides of the fence. The sun was setting, painting everything orange and gold. Maya wore jeans and a soft blue sweater that made her eyes glow. You work late, she observed. Habit. Plus, I wanted to finish this section. He gestured at the fence. Your kids will be climbing it otherwise. They probably will anyway. 4-year-olds are escape artists. Ethan laughed. I'll keep that in mind. Maya sipped her lemonade, made a face, then laughed. I warned you it was terrible. You weren't kidding. They talked easily about nothing important. Her student's latest project, handprint turkeys for Thanksgiving, his crew member who kept losing his tape measure, the weather getting colder. But underneath the small talk ran something deeper, something neither of them named but both felt. Can I ask you something? Maya said finally. Anything. Yesterday with that parent, you didn't have to get involved. You could have stayed out of it. I couldn't have. Ethan set down his cup on a fence post. Not anymore. I spent too long staying out of things, pretending problems weren't my problem, but they are. We're all connected, you know. What happens to one person affects everyone. Maya's eyes shone. That's a good philosophy. Got it from a smart preschool teacher. Oh yeah, she sounds wise. She is. Scary smart. And patient. Way more patient than I deserve. His voice dropped. But I'm grateful for it. For her giving me time to figure things out. Their eyes held. The air between them felt charged. Electric. Maya's phone buzzed. She checked it, sighed. That's my mum. I need to call her back. Of course. She started to leave, then turned back. Ethan, tomorrow's Friday. It is. If you wanted to grab actual good lemonade somewhere after work, I'd be okay with that. His heart jumped. Really? Really? But just lemonade and talking. Nothing more. Just lemonade and talking, Ethan repeated, trying not to grin like an idiot. I can do that. Good. Maya smiled. That warm, real smile that made his chest ache. It's a date. I mean, not a date, just a... I know what you mean. He smiled back. And yeah, I'd like that. She walked away, and Ethan stood there holding terrible lemonade, feeling like he'd just won something important. Jake had been right. Change wasn't about grand gestures. It was about small moments, consistent choices, showing up, being better today than yesterday. He could do that. For Maya, he could do anything. Friday arrived with gossip. Maya heard it before she even got to her classroom. 2 teachers talking by the coffee machine. Did you hear? That contractor and Maya. They're dating. No way. After what he said. Karen told me she saw them at the coffee shop. Very cozy. Maya cleared her throat. Both teachers jumped and scattered, but the damage was done. The word was out. People were talking. In a small town, that meant everyone would know by lunch. Chloe showed up during Maya's planning period, her face stormy. Have you seen the posts? What posts? Chloe showed her phone. A local Facebook group. Someone had shared a short video from weeks ago. Ethan at the restaurant, making his joke. The clip was grainy and the audio muffled, but the caption was clear. Local contractor shows true colors. And now he's working at our children's school? Maya's stomach dropped. The comments were vicious. Some defended Ethan. Others called for his company to be fired. Several mentioned Maya by name. Who posted this? Maya asked. Anonymous account, but look at the timestamp. This was from the night of your date. Chloe scrolled down. Someone recorded him and held onto it, waiting to use it. Maya felt sick. This wasn't just gossip anymore. This was public, permanent. Her students' parents would see this. Her boss, everyone. What do I do? She whispered. That's up to you, babe. Chloe squeezed her hand. But whatever you decide, I'm with you. Maya spent her lunch break staring at that video, watching Ethan say those words, seeing the casual cruelty on his face. It felt like being stabbed all over again. But then she remembered Wednesday, the way he'd stood up for Sophia, the certainty in his voice when he'd said that's enough. Which Ethan was real? The one in the video or the one she'd been getting to know? Maybe both. Maybe people weren't simple. Maybe change was messy and slow and real all at once. Her phone rang. Ethan. She almost didn't answer, but something made her press accept. Maya, I'm so sorry. His voice was rough. panicked. Jake just showed me the post. I didn't know anyone recorded that. I swear I didn't. I know. I'm going to fix this. I'll make a statement. Ethan, stop. Maya closed her eyes. You can't fix this. It's out there now. Then what do I do? You keep going. You keep being the person I saw on Wednesday, the one who stood up for Sophia. That's the only way through this. And us. His voice cracked. The lemonade tonight? Maya looked out her classroom window, at the playground taking shape, at the fence where they'd talked yesterday, at the space where something fragile was growing. I'm still in if you are, she said quietly. You are? Yes. But, Ethan, this isn't going to be easy. People will talk. They'll judge. They'll question why I'm even giving you time. I understand. Do you? Because I'm risking something too, my reputation, my peace. I need to know you're serious. I am. His voice steadied. I'm all in, Maya. Whatever it takes. Okay then. She took a breath. Lemonade at 6. I'll be there. They hung up. Maya sat in her quiet classroom, surrounded by children's artwork and alphabet charts. Simple, innocent things. She'd built a safe life here. Was she really going to risk it? But then she thought about her mother's words. Don't close yourself off completely. Sometimes people surprise us. Maybe it was time to be surprised. The diner on Main Street served lemonade so sweet it made your teeth hurt. Maya sat across from Ethan in a corner booth, both of them hyper-aware of the stares. Everyone's looking, Maya said quietly. Let them. Ethan's jaw was tight, but his eyes stayed on her. I don't care what they think. That's easy to say. No, it's not. He leaned forward. It's the hardest thing I've ever done, but you're worth it. Maya stirred her lemonade with her straw. The video had been shared 40 times in the last 3 hours. Her principal had called, asking if everything was okay. Her mother had called twice. Even parents had started texting questions. My boss wants to meet with me Monday, Maya said, about the situation. Ethan's face went pale. Are you in trouble? I don't know. Maybe. She met his eyes. They're worried about the optics. A teacher dating someone who said what you said. I'll talk to them. I'll explain. Explain what? That you've changed in 2 weeks? Maya shook her head. People don't believe in change that fast. Then I'll prove it, however long it takes. A couple at the next table whispered and pointed. The waitress brought their food with a tight smile. The whole town was watching, judging, deciding if Maya was foolish or brave. She wasn't sure herself. Tell me something, Maya said, picking at her fries. When you made that joke, what were you thinking? Ethan flinched. Honestly? Honestly. I was nervous, trying to be funny, and I just said what I'd heard people say my whole life. My dad, mostly. He had opinions about everyone who wasn't like us. Ethan stared at his plate. I never questioned it. I just absorbed it. And now? Now I see how stupid that was. How cruel. Your skin doesn't define who you are any more than mine does. It's just you. Beautiful, patient, kind you. His voice cracked. And I almost missed knowing you because of my own ignorance. Maya felt tears sting her eyes. She blinked them back. This is hard, Ethan. I know. People I respect are questioning my judgment. My mother is worried. My best friend is protective. And I'm sitting here wondering if I'm making a huge mistake. Are you? Maya looked at him. Really looked. At the genuine pain in his face. The way he didn't make excuses or demand forgiveness. Just sat there open and vulnerable, waiting for her verdict. I don't think so, she said softly. But I need you to understand something. I've been hurt before. By someone who promised me everything and delivered heartbreak. I can't go through that again. I won't hurt you. You can't promise that. No one can. She reached across the table, not quite touching his hand. But you can promise to be honest. To keep working on yourself. To not give up when things get hard. I promise all of that. Ethan's hand moved closer to hers. Their fingers brushed. I'm not going anywhere, Maya. They ate in silence after that. A companionable quiet that felt less like ending and more like beginning. Outside the diner window, the sun set in streaks of pink and orange. When they left, Ethan walked her to her car. The parking lot was nearly empty, giving them a moment of privacy. Thank you, he said, for not giving up on me. Thank you for giving me a reason not to. He smiled, that slow, uncertain smile that made her heart skip. Can I see you again? Maybe somewhere less public? Where did you have in mind? The playground? After work next week? Just you and me in the swings. Maya laughed. That's either very sweet or very weird. I'm hoping for sweet. We'll see. She drove home, feeling lighter than she had in days. Yes, people were talking. Yes. Monday would be difficult, but something real was growing between them, something worth protecting. Her phone rang, her mother. "Baby, I saw the posts," Mrs. Brooks said without preamble. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine, Mama." "Are you sure? Because people are saying things. Terrible things." "I know, but they don't know Ethan. Not like I'm starting to." Her mother was quiet for a long moment. "You sound sure about this." "I'm not sure about anything, but I'm trying to be open, like you said." "I also said, be careful." "I am, I promise." Another pause, then softer. "Your daddy used to say the measure of a man isn't in his mistakes, it's in how he fixes them." Maya's throat tightened. Her father had died when she was 12. She still missed him every day. He was wise. He was. And he'd want you to be happy. Her mother's voice wobbled. "So, if this Ethan makes you happy, if he's really changed, then I support you. But the second he shows his true colors, I'll walk away. I promise." "Good. Because you're too precious to waste on someone who doesn't see your worth." After they hung up, Maya sat in her car outside her apartment. The evening had deepened to full dark. Stars dotted the sky. She thought about her father, about his strength and grace, about how he'd always believed in second chances. She hoped she was making him proud. The weekend passed in a blur. Maya avoided social media. She cleaned her apartment. She went to church Sunday morning and felt the eyes of the congregation. Some kind, some judging, all curious. Pastor Williams caught her after service. "Walk with me, Maya?" They strolled through the small garden behind the church. Roses bloomed despite the cold, hardy and bright. "I heard about your situation," Pastor Williams said. He was 60, with kind eyes and silver hair. "How are you holding up?" "Honestly, I'm not sure." "That's fair." He stopped by a bench. "Can I tell you something? When I was your age, I fell in love with a woman my family disapproved of. Different background, different beliefs. Everyone said it wouldn't work. What happened? We got married anyway. Had 3 beautiful children. Just celebrated our 35th anniversary." He smiled. "My point is, people will always have opinions, but only you know your heart. Only you know if this man is genuine. How do I know, though? How do I trust my judgment? You watch his actions. You give it time. And you listen to what God tells you in the quiet moments." He patted her shoulder. "But most importantly, you don't let fear make your decisions. Fear closes doors. Faith opens them." Maya thought about those words all afternoon. Fear closes doors. Faith opens them. She'd been living in fear since Marcus, afraid to trust, afraid to be hurt again. But Ethan wasn't Marcus, and she wasn't the same woman she'd been 8 months ago. Maybe it was time to open a door. Monday morning brought the dreaded meeting. Maya sat in Principal Harrison's office, her hands folded in her lap. The older woman looked at her with concern and something else. Disappointment, maybe. "Maya, you're one of our best teachers," Principal Harrison said. "The children love you, parents trust you, but this situation is concerning." "I understand." "Do you?" "Because we have parents calling, asking if we're aware of who's building our playground, if we knew about his past statements." Maya's stomach twisted. "Mr. Walker's company won the bid fairly. His past comments, while terrible, don't reflect his current work or character. And your relationship with him? Is that professional?" "We're friends. Getting to know each other. Friends." Principal Harrison didn't sound convinced. "Maya, I'm not telling you who you can or can't date. That's your business. But when it affects the school, it becomes my business too." "I understand. I'm sorry for any trouble this has caused." "I'm not asking for an apology. I'm asking you to be careful, for your sake and the school's." The principal softened slightly. "I believe in redemption. I do. But redemption takes time. Make sure he's earned yours before you risk everything for him." Maya left the office feeling bruised. She taught her classes by rote, going through the motions. The kids sensed her mood and were extra gentle. Even Emma brought her a drawing at the end of the day. "For you, Miss Maya, to make you happy." The drawing showed 2 stick figures holding hands. One had curly hair, one wore a hard hat. "Is this me?" Maya asked, pointing to the curly-haired figure. Emma nodded. "And that's Mr. Ethan. He makes you smile." Out of the mouths of babes. That evening, Ethan texted, "Playground's done. Want to see?" Maya drove to the school. The parking lot was empty, the building dark, but lights blazed in the playground area. She walked around back and stopped. It was beautiful. New equipment gleamed under the security lights. A tall slide, swings with bucket seats for the littlest kids, a climbing structure that looked like a castle, rubber surfacing in bright colors, even a covered picnic area for outdoor classes. Ethan stood by the swings, his hands in his pockets. He'd cleaned up from work, fresh jeans, a button-down shirt. He looked nervous. "What do you think?" he asked as she approached. "It's perfect. The kids are going to lose their minds. That was the goal." He gestured to the swings. "Want to try them out?" They sat on swings side by side. Maya pushed off gently, the motion familiar and soothing. Ethan kept his feet on the ground, just rocking slightly. "I heard you had a meeting with your boss," he said quietly. "How did you—" "Small town. Word travels." He looked at her. "I'm sorry. I never wanted to cause you problems." "I know. Is your job okay?" "For now." Maya dragged her feet, stopping the swing. "But Ethan, this is real. The consequences are real. People are judging me for giving you a chance. Then I'll make sure they see I'm worth it." "How?" He was quiet for a moment. "Then, there's a charity fair this weekend. The Chamber of Commerce thing. Lots of people. I'm going to say something, publicly." Maya's heart jumped. "What do you mean?" "I mean, I'm going to own what I said. Apologize for real. Not in a parking lot or a coffee shop, but in front of everyone." His voice was steady, but scared. "It's time I stopped hiding from it. Ethan, you don't have to." "Yes, I do, for me and for you." He turned to face her. "You're risking your reputation for me. The least I can do is risk mine for the truth." Maya felt tears well up. "That's brave. It's terrifying. But you've been brave this whole time, standing up to me, giving me chances I don't deserve. I can be brave too." They sat in silence, the playground around them a testament to his work, his care, his ability to build something good. Maybe he could rebuild himself too. "I'll be there," Maya said, "at the fair, to support you. You don't have to. I know, but I want to." Their hands found each other on the swing chains, fingers intertwining, a connection that felt fragile and strong all at once. "Thank you," Ethan whispered. "For what?" "For seeing me. The real me. Not just the worst thing I ever said." Maya squeezed his hand. "We all deserve to be more than our worst moment." They stayed there as the night deepened. Two people on swings holding hands in a playground, believing in the possibility of change. Saturday arrived cold and bright. The charity fair filled the town square with booths and laughter. Families wandered between craft vendors and food trucks. A small stage hosted local musicians. Maya arrived with Chloe, both bundled in jackets. They got hot chocolate and walked through the crowd. Maya's stomach churned. Somewhere in this crowd was Ethan, preparing to bare his soul. "You okay?" Chloe asked. "Nervous. For him or for you?" "Both." They found a spot near the stage. Jake appeared, nodding at Maya. "He's backstage, scared out of his mind." "Will he be okay?" Maya asked. "I don't know, but he's doing it anyway." Jake's face was serious. "That's growth, right there." The current band finished their set. The chamber president took the mic, thanking sponsors and volunteers. Then she paused. "We have someone who'd like to say a few words, Ethan Walker." The crowd murmured. People shifted. Maya held her breath. Ethan walked onto the stage. He looked small up there, vulnerable. He held no notes, no prepared speech, just himself. "Hi." His voice cracked over the speakers. He cleared his throat. "I'm not good at this kind of thing, public speaking, but I need to say something." The crowd went silent. "A few weeks ago, I said something cruel, something racist, about a woman I'd never even met." Ethan's hands shook. "Someone recorded it, posted it, and now everyone knows what I said." Maya could hear whispers starting. Chloe grabbed her hand. "I could make excuses," Ethan continued. "Say I was nervous or joking or didn't mean it. But that would be a lie. I meant it when I said it, and that's what makes it so terrible." He paused, scanning the crowd. His eyes found Maya, drew strength from her. "But then I met that woman, and she was everything I didn't expect. Kind, patient, brave enough to tell me I was wrong, brave enough to give me a chance to be better." His voice steadied. "I don't deserve her time. I don't deserve her forgiveness. But she gave it anyway, and that changed me." Someone in the crowd shouted something. Maya couldn't hear what. Ethan nodded like he'd expected it. "I know some of you are angry. You should be. I'm angry at myself, at the person I was, at the ideas I never questioned." He took a breath. "But I'm here to say I'm learning, I'm changing. Not because I want to look good, but because I want to be good. For real." The crowd was completely still now, listening. "I'm not asking for forgiveness. That's not mine to demand. I'm just saying I'm sorry. To that woman, to this community, to everyone I hurt with my ignorance." Ethan's voice dropped. "And I promise to keep doing better. every single day. He stepped back from the mic. For a moment, nothing happened. Then someone started clapping. Then another, then more, not everyone, but enough. Maya's tears fell freely. Chloe hugged her tight. "Girl, that took guts." Ethan left the stage quickly, disappearing into the crowd. Maya tried to follow but lost him in the press of people. Some stopped her. A few offered support, others looked away. She finally found him behind a vendor booth, hands on his knees, breathing hard. "Ethan," he straightened, wiping his eyes. "I'm okay. Just needed a minute." She walked to him, not caring who saw, not caring what anyone thought. She wrapped her arms around him and he held her like she was the only solid thing in a spinning world. "You did so good," she whispered. "I was terrified." "I know, but you did it anyway." They stood there holding each other while the fair continued around them. Music played. Children laughed. Life went on. When they finally pulled apart, Ethan smiled. "Want to get out of here? Go somewhere quieter?" "Yes, please." They walked through the fair toward the parking lot. Lanterns were starting to glow as evening approached, strung between booths like fireflies. Maya felt lighter than she had in weeks. Then she heard the music. A slow country song drifted from the stage. Couples were starting to dance in the open area near the bandstand. Ethan stopped walking. "Dance with me?" he asked. "Here? In front of everyone?" "Especially in front of everyone." His eyes were clear, certain. "I'm done hiding. Done being ashamed. If you'll have me, I want the world to know." Maya's heart swelled. She took his hand. "Okay." They walked back to the dancing area. People noticed. Whispers started again, but Maya didn't care. Ethan pulled her close, one hand on her waist, the other holding hers. They swayed to the music, slow and easy. "Thank you," he murmured against her hair, "for dancing, for everything, for seeing past my mistakes, for giving me a reason to be better." Maya pulled back to look at him. "You're the one doing the work. I'm just here. That's everything." The song played on. They danced, lost in their own world. When Maya looked up, she saw her mother standing at the edge of the crowd. Mrs. Brooks watched them, her face unreadable. Then slowly she smiled, just a little, but it was enough. As the song ended, Ethan's phone buzzed in his pocket. He ignored it, but it buzzed again and again. "You should check that," Maya said. He pulled out his phone reluctantly. His face went pale. "It's Amanda, my ex." "What does she want?" "She says we need to talk." He looked at Maya, confused and worried. "I haven't heard from her in 6 months. Why now?" Maya felt cold creep into her chest. "Maybe you should find out." "I don't want to, not now, not when things are finally—" "Ethan." She touched his face gently. "Go talk to her. Handle it. I'll be here." "You sure?" "I'm sure." He kissed her forehead quickly. "I'll call you tonight, I promise." Maya watched him leave, that cold feeling spreading. She told herself it was nothing. Amanda was the past, but something felt wrong. Chloe appeared at her elbow. "Everything okay?" "I hope so." Sunday afternoon, Maya drove past the downtown coffee shop and saw them. Ethan and a blonde woman sitting at an outside table. The woman was beautiful, perfect hair, expensive clothes. She leaned toward Ethan, talking animatedly. Maya's heart stopped. She shouldn't be jealous. Ethan had every right to talk to his ex, but the sight of them together, the woman's possessive body language, made Maya's stomach twist. She drove past without stopping. At home, she stared at her phone. No call from Ethan like he'd promised, no text. Nothing. Doubt crept in like fog. What if he'd been playing her? What if the change was all an act? What if Amanda wanted him back, and he said yes? Stop it, she told herself. Trust him. But trust was hard when your heart had been broken before. Monday came with no word. Tuesday, too. Maya's calls went to voicemail. Her texts stayed unanswered. At the playground, completed now and full of happy children, she searched for signs of Ethan. But his truck was gone, the project finished. Wednesday evening, Chloe showed up at Maya's apartment with wine and determination. "He's an idiot," Chloe announced. "You don't know that. He ghosted you for 3 days. That's idiot behavior." Maya curled up on the couch. Maybe something happened, maybe he's busy. Or maybe Amanda got her claws back in him. Chloe poured wine. "Either way, you deserve better than silence." Maya knew she was right, but it still hurt. She'd opened her heart, risked her reputation, believed in him, and now he'd disappeared. Thursday afternoon, her principal stopped her in the hallway. "The board wants to meet with you next week, about the situation with Mr. Walker." "Is that necessary? His company finished the work, he's gone." Principal Harrison looked uncomfortable. "There have been complaints. Parents saying they don't trust your judgment if you're involved with someone who, well, you know. I see. I'm trying to support you, Maya, but I need you to show them you made the right choice. Can you do that? Maya didn't know anymore. Friday evening, Maya was grading papers when someone knocked on her door. She opened it to find Chloe holding her phone, her face excited. You need to see this. What? Just look. Chloe pulled up Facebook. Jake had posted a video from yesterday. Ethan at the building supply store, talking to the owner about donating materials to the school district. Ethan at a community center, volunteering to repair their playground for free. Ethan everywhere but where Maya could see him. He's not with Amanda, Chloe said. He turned her down. Cold. Jake heard the whole thing. She wanted him back, said the whole redemption arc was good publicity. Ethan told her to leave and never contact him again. Maya's hands shook. Then why hasn't he called? Jake says he's scared. Thinks he messed up by even meeting with her. Thinks you saw them and will never forgive him. That's ridiculous. Then tell him that he's at the school right now, doing some final touch-ups alone. Go. Maya grabbed her keys. The school parking lot was empty except for Ethan's truck. Rain had started falling, soft at first, then harder. Maya parked and ran toward the playground, her jacket pulled over her head. She found him on his knees by the slide, tightening bolts in the downpour. His shirt was soaked through, his hair plastered to his forehead. He didn't hear her approach over the sound of rain. Ethan! He spun around, wrench in hand. Water dripped down his face. His eyes went wide. Maya, what are you doing out here? Fixing. There's a loose bolt. I noticed it this morning and... He stood up slowly. What are you doing here? Looking for you. Maya wiped rain from her face. You disappeared. No calls. No texts. I thought... I know what you thought. His voice cracked. You saw me with Amanda. At the coffee shop. Yes, she wanted me back. Said my whole redemption thing would be good for both of us. Great publicity. Ethan dropped the wrench. It clattered on the rubber surface. I told her to get lost. That I wasn't interested in publicity or her or anything except being a better person. Then why didn't you call me? Because I'm an idiot. He stepped toward her. Because I was scared you'd think the worst. That you'd seen me with her and decided I wasn't worth the trouble. So I threw myself into work instead of facing you like an adult. Thunder rumbled overhead. The rain came down harder. Maya moved closer. You should have called. I know. I've been going crazy, thinking you changed your mind, that Amanda was more important, that everything you said was a lie. It wasn't. None of it was. Ethan reached for her hand. His fingers were cold and wet. Maya, you're the realest thing in my life right now. The only thing that matters. I'm sorry I made you doubt that. I'm sorry too for not trusting you enough to just ask. You had every right not to trust me, but I want to. Maya squeezed his hand. I want to trust you, to believe in this, in us. There's an us? I think there might be, if we're brave enough. Ethan pulled her closer. They stood in the rain, both soaked, both trembling, not from cold, but from everything they were feeling. I'm not leaving, he said quietly. Not this time. Not ever. I'm all in, Maya, for however long you'll have me. That's a big promise. I mean every word. She looked up at him. Rain ran down his face, but his eyes were clear, honest, full of something that looked like love but was too new to name. Kiss me, Maya whispered. Yeah? Yeah. Ethan cupped her face in his hands. He leaned down slowly, giving her time to change her mind. But she didn't. Their lips met soft and gentle, a kiss that tasted like rain and promises and new beginnings. When they pulled apart, both were crying. Or maybe it was just rain. Hard to tell. Come on, Maya said, laughing. We're going to catch pneumonia out here. Worth it. They ran to the covered picnic area, both laughing now. Ethan pulled off his soaked jacket and wrapped it around her shoulders. They sat on the bench, close together, watching the rain. Tell me about Amanda, Maya said. The real story. Ethan sighed. We were engaged 2 years ago. She left when I got too focused on work. Said I cared more about my business than her. She was right. And now she wants you back? Now she wants the version of me that's getting attention. The guy making public apologies and big gestures. It's all surface to her. He turned to Maya. But you saw me at my worst, and you still gave me a chance. That's real. I saw your worst and your best. Both matter. The best is because of you. No. Maya touched his face. The best was always in you. I just helped you find it. They sat in comfortable silence, watching the storm. The playground around them gleamed wet and new, a symbol of rebuilding. Of creating something better from something broken. I have a meeting with the school board next week, Maya said quietly, about us, about whether my judgment is compromised. Ethan tensed. What? Some parents are worried. They think I'm making a mistake with you. Maybe you are. Don't say that. Maya, I don't want to cost you your job, your reputation, everything you've worked for. His voice was anguished. Maybe we should... Don't you dare finish that sentence. Maya grabbed his hand hard. Don't you dare suggest walking away now, not after everything. But your job. I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Together. She made him look at her. I'm not giving up on you, Ethan Walker, so don't you give up on us. He kissed her again, deeper this time, a kiss that said everything words couldn't. When they finally left, the rain had stopped. Stars peeked through breaking clouds. Ethan walked Maya to her car, holding her hand the whole way. Tomorrow, he said. Let me take you somewhere nice, a real date. No diners, no drama, just us. Where? Let me surprise you. Maya smiled. Okay, I trust you. Those 3 words hung in the air between them, heavy with meaning, light with hope. Get home safe, Ethan said. You too. She drove away, watching him in her rearview mirror. He stood in the parking lot, waving until she turned the corner. At home, Maya called Chloe immediately. So? Chloe demanded. Don't leave me hanging. We kissed, Chloe screamed, actually screamed. Girl, finally, how was it? Perfect, wet, romantic. Maya laughed, feeling giddy. He's taking me out tomorrow, a real date. This is happening. This is really happening. I think it is. After they hung up, Maya stood in her bathroom looking at herself in the mirror. Her hair was a mess. Her clothes were damp. Mascara ran down her cheeks. She looked happy. Saturday evening, Ethan picked Maya up at 7. He wore dark jeans and a button-down shirt that made his eyes look impossibly blue. His hair was combed, his beard trimmed. He looked nervous and adorable. You clean up nice, Maya said. You look beautiful. His voice was soft with awe. Really beautiful. Maya wore a deep purple dress and gold earrings. She'd spent an hour getting ready, changing 3 times before Chloe finally told her to pick something and go. Ethan drove them to a restaurant 1 town over. Quiet, intimate. No one who knew them. Just soft lighting and good food and privacy. They talked for hours, about everything. His childhood growing up with a difficult father, her memories of her dad before he died, dreams for the future, fears about the present. What if the board decides against me? Maya asked over dessert. Then we fight it. Together. Ethan reached across the table for her hand. You're an amazing teacher. Anyone who works with you knows that. The parents who are complaining? They don't know you, not really. Some of them do, they're just scared. Of what? Of change. Of things being different than they expected. Maya squeezed his hand. But that's life. Things change. People change. We have to adapt. You're very wise. I'm a preschool teacher. Wisdom comes with the territory. They laughed. Easy and natural. Like they'd been doing this forever instead of just beginning. After dinner, Ethan drove them to a lookout point outside town. The city lights spread below them like scattered stars. They sat on the hood of his truck, Maya leaning against his chest, his arms around her. I could stay here forever, Maya murmured. Me too, but we have to go back. Face reality. I know. Ethan kissed the top of her head. But tonight, let's just be here. Just us. No problems. No judgment. Just this. So they stayed, watching the lights, feeling the cool night air, being together in a moment of perfect peace. Monday arrived with Maya's stomach in knots. The board meeting was at 4. She taught her classes in a daze, barely present. Emma noticed. Miss Maya, are you sick? No, sweetheart. Just thinking. About what? Adult stuff. Is it about Mr. Ethan? Marcus says you love him. Maya's heart jumped. Marcus says what? That you love Mr. Ethan. Because you smile when you see him, and love makes people smile. Out of the mouths of babes, indeed. At 4 o'clock, Maya sat before the school board, 5 people who held her career in their hands. Principal Harrison sat to the side, supportive but nervous. Ms. Brooks, the board president began, we've received concerns about your relationship with Mr. Walker. Given his past statements, some parents question your judgment. I understand their concern, Maya said, keeping her voice steady. But I'd ask them to consider growth. Mr. Walker made a terrible mistake. He owned it publicly. He's working to be better. Isn't that what we teach our children, that people can change? Children, yes, but adults? One board member frowned. Patterns of behavior are hard to break. I disagree. I see people change every day. Parents who struggle learning to be patient. Kids who learn to share. Adults who confront their own biases. Maya leaned forward. Mr. Walker didn't just apologize. He's taking action, volunteering, donating materials, standing up for children who face discrimination. Those aren't empty gestures, they're choices. But your personal involvement, my personal involvement, is my business, as long as it doesn't affect my teaching, which it hasn't. My students are thriving. Test scores are up. Parent satisfaction was high before this controversy. The only thing that's changed is perception. Another board member spoke up. You're asking us to trust your judgment. Yes, I am, because I've earned that trust. 5 years of excellent evaluations, countless parent testimonials, students who love learning because I make it safe and joyful. Maya's voice strengthened. I'm not asking you to approve of my choices. I'm asking you to judge me by my work, and my work speaks for itself. The room went quiet. The board members exchanged glances. Principal Harrison smiled slightly. We'll need to discuss this privately, the president said. We'll have a decision by tomorrow. Maya left feeling uncertain. She'd said her piece. Now she had to wait. Ethan was waiting in the parking lot. He jumped out of his truck when he saw her. How'd it go? I don't know. They're deciding tomorrow. You were amazing in there. I know you were. You weren't even there. I know you. He pulled her close. And you're amazing always. That night Maya couldn't sleep. She kept replaying the meeting. Had she said enough? Too much? Would they fire her? Would they support her? At midnight her phone rang. Her mother. Baby, I know you're awake. How do you always know? Mother's intuition. How are you really? Scared. What if I lose everything? Then you rebuild. That's what we do. We fall. We get back up. We keep going. Her mother's voice was firm. But Maya, I don't think you're going to lose anything. You're strong, you're right, and right usually wins in the end. Usually isn't always. No, but it's enough to have faith in. Tuesday morning dragged. Maya checked her phone constantly. No calls, no emails, just silence. At noon, Principal Harrison appeared at her classroom door. Her face was unreadable. Maya, can we talk? Maya's heart stopped. Of course. They walked to the office. The principal closed the door and smiled. Actually smiled. The board voted in your favor, unanimously. Maya's knees went weak. What? They said your speech reminded them why they hired you. Your passion, your integrity, your commitment to growth, both for your students and yourself. Principal Harrison handed her a letter. They're officially supporting you, and they've asked the concerned parents to observe your classroom, see firsthand the difference you make. Tears streamed down Maya's face. Thank you. Thank you so much. Don't thank me. You did this. You stood up for yourself and for what's right. That takes courage. Maya called Ethan immediately. He answered on the first ring. I got the job. They supported me. His whoop of joy probably scared customers at whatever work site he was on. That's amazing. I'm so proud of you. Can you get away, just for a little bit? For you? Absolutely. They met at the playground, their place now, where it all had changed. Maya ran to him and he lifted her off her feet, spinning her around. You did it, he whispered. We did it. Together. He set her down gently. I love you. The words hung in the air. Maya's breath caught. What? I love you. Ethan's face was open, vulnerable. I know it's fast. I know we're still figuring things out. But I love you, Maya Brooks. You've changed my life, made me want to be better, made me believe I can be, and I love you for it. Maya's tears came again, happy tears this time. I love you too. His smile could have lit the whole world. He kissed her there in the playground, under the bright November sun, surrounded by the swings and slides he'd built with his own hands. A symbol of rebuilding, of second chances, of love grown from unlikely soil. The following week, the school held a grand opening for the new playground. Families filled the space. Children ran wild with joy. Emma went down the big slide 17 times in a row, counting loudly each time. Maya stood with her students, watching their happiness. Ethan joined her, keeping a respectful distance. They were still careful in public, still navigating boundaries, but they were together. Mrs. Brooks arrived with a basket of cookies. She walked straight to Ethan, her face serious. He stood up straighter, clearly nervous. Mrs. Brooks, it's good to see you. Is it? She looked him up and down. You're the young man who hurt my daughter. Yes, ma'am, I am, and I'm sorry. Let me finish. Mrs. Brooks held up a hand. You hurt her, but then you did something remarkable. You changed, really changed. Not just words, but actions. I've been watching. Her face softened slightly. My husband used to say the measure of a man isn't in his mistakes, it's in how he fixes them. You're fixing yours. Ethan's eyes shone with unshed tears. I'm trying, ma'am. I can see that. And since Maya has chosen you, I suppose I should get to know you. She offered the basket. Cookie? He took one gratefully. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. You hurt her again, and you'll answer to me. But Mrs. Brooks was smiling. Now, tell me about this playground. My daughter says you built it. Maya watched them talk, her heart so full it might burst. Her mother, her man, finding common ground. A tug on her dress made her look down. Emma stood there with that same drawing from weeks ago, the stick figures holding hands. I was right, Miss Maya. He does make you smile. Maya laughed, picking up the little girl. Yes, sweetie, he really does. That evening, Ethan texted, Dinner tomorrow night. I have a surprise. Maya agreed, curious. The next night he picked her up and drove her to Main Street, to Miller's family restaurant, where it all began. Maya's stomach dropped. Ethan, are you sure? Very sure. Trust me. She did. So they walked in together, hand in hand. The same waitress from that first night was working. The young woman who'd overheard everything, who'd told Maya the truth. She saw them and paused. Ethan walked over. I owe you an apology too, for what you heard, for having to carry that burden. The waitress studied him. Then slowly she smiled. My cousin's kid goes to that preschool, Sophia. She talks about Miss Maya all the time, and about how a man stood up for her when someone was mean. She looked at Maya. He stood up for her. That says something. It does, Maya agreed softly. Table for two, the waitress asked. Please. She led them to the same booth from their disastrous first date. But everything felt different now. Lighter. Right. They ordered the same meals. Chicken pasta for both, and they talked and laughed without the weight of secrets between them. You know, Maya said, twirling pasta on her fork, that first night, I never thought we'd end up here. Here in this restaurant? Here together. Happy. In love. Ethan reached across the table, taking her hand. That first night I almost left. Almost walked out because of my own stupidity and fear. But I stayed, and staying changed everything. Everything, Maya agreed. I'm glad I stayed. Me too. Around them the restaurant hummed with life. Families laughing, couples talking, the world turning. But in their booth time felt suspended. Perfect. Complete. The waitress came back with dessert they hadn't ordered. Chocolate cake with 2 forks. On the house, she said, for second chances. After dinner, they walked through downtown, hand in hand. The night was cold but clear. Stars blazed overhead. Christmas lights were starting to appear in shop windows, even though Thanksgiving hadn't arrived yet. I have something to tell you, Ethan said, stopping under a streetlight. What? I talked to Mr. Geller, my old mentor. He's retiring and offered to sell me his company. The big one. More contracts. More money. More everything. Maya's heart jumped. Ethan, that's amazing. I said no. What? Why? Because bigger doesn't mean better. I like my small company. Working with my hands. Building playgrounds for kids like Emma. He smiled. I like the life I have, the one you're in. I don't want to lose that chasing something I don't need. You're sure? Very sure. You taught me that. To be happy with who I am, not who I think I should be. Maya kissed him right there under the streetlight, not caring who saw. I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of us. They walked back to his truck. Before getting in, Ethan pulled something from his pocket. A small wooden box, handmade. I made this for you, he said, suddenly shy. It's not much, but... Maya opened it. Inside was a wooden heart, carved smooth and perfect. You made this? In my garage. Took me 6 tries to get it right. He rubbed the back of his neck. It's a symbol, I guess, of my heart, which is yours. If you want it. Of course I want it. Maya held the heart carefully. It's beautiful. Not as beautiful as you. That was smooth. I'm getting better at this. She laughed and kissed him again. Yes, you are. Thanksgiving came warm and bright. Maya's mother hosted dinner and invited Ethan. Chloe and Jake came too, along with Sarah and a handful of family members. The table overflowed with food. Turkey and stuffing and sweet potatoes and pie. Laughter filled every corner. Stories were shared, memories made. When it came time to say what they were grateful for, Maya spoke first. I'm grateful for second chances, for people brave enough to change, and for love that grows even in hard places. Ethan went next. I'm grateful for patience, for people who see past mistakes to the person underneath, and for Maya, who taught me what it means to be truly honest. Mrs. Brooks reached across the table and squeezed Ethan's hand. "Welcome to the family, son." Ethan's voice broke. "Thank you. That means everything." After dinner, they all sat in the living room, too full to move. Ethan and Jake argued about football. Chloe and Sarah planned a double date. Mrs. Brooks showed old photos of Maya as a child. "Look at this one," she said, holding up a picture. Maya at 4, covered in paint, absolutely filthy. "I was making art," Maya protested. "You were making a mess." "Art is messy," Ethan said, smiling at the photo. "The best things usually are." As the evening wound down, couples paired off. Ethan and Maya ended up on the porch swing, wrapped in a blanket, watching stars appear. "Thank you," Maya said quietly. "For what?" "For not leaving that first night. For staying when it was hard. For choosing to be better. Thank you for seeing me. Really seeing me. Not just the worst thing I said, but the whole person." He pulled her closer. "You saved me, Maya." "No, you saved yourself. I just believed you could." They sat in comfortable silence, the swing creaking gently. Inside, laughter drifted through the windows. Family sounds, home sounds. "I love this," Ethan said. "Being here with you, part of something real." "Me too. Think we'll do this every year, Thanksgiving together?" "I hope so." "Me too." He kissed her temple. "In fact, I'm counting on it." Christmas arrived with snow and magic. Maya and Ethan exchanged small gifts. She gave him a toolkit with his initials engraved. He gave her a necklace with a wooden heart pendant, matching the one he'd carved. "So you always have my heart with you," he explained. "That's the corniest thing I've ever heard." "Too much?" "Perfect." They spent the day with both their families. Mrs. Brooks welcomed Ethan completely now, treating him like the son she'd never had. Even Jake and Chloe had become close friends, forming their own relationship separate from Maya and Ethan. New Year's Eve found them back at the playground, their place, where everything had changed. "We should make this a tradition," Maya said, sitting on a swing, "coming here on important days." "I like that." Ethan pushed her gently. "Although next year maybe we pick somewhere warmer." "Where's your sense of adventure?" "Frozen somewhere in my toes." Maya laughed, that bright, free sound he loved. "Come here, you big baby." He sat on the swing next to hers. Their hands found each other automatically now, natural as breathing. "What do you want this year?" Maya asked as midnight approached. "For us?" "More of this. More you. More us." Ethan squeezed her hand. "Maybe move in together eventually. Build something real. Something lasting." "That sounds nice." "Yeah?" "Yeah." Maya looked at him, her eyes shining in the dim light. "I'm all in, Ethan Walker. For however long you'll have me. Forever sounds good. Forever sounds perfect." The church bells began to toll midnight. They stood moving together in the space between swings. As the final bell rang, they kissed, starting the new year the way they meant to continue, together, equal in love. Around them, the playground stood silent and strong, a testament to rebuilding, to second chances, to the power of honest work and genuine change. Ethan had almost left that first night, but he stayed, and staying had made all the difference. 6 months later, Emma ran across the playground, her hand-painted butterfly wings flapping behind her. "Miss Maya, look, I'm flying!" Maya laughed, watching her students play. Spring had arrived, warm and early. The playground looked perfect, weathered now, used, loved. Everything a playground should be. A truck pulled into the parking lot. Ethan coming to take her to lunch. They did this every Wednesday now, their routine, their time. He walked over to the fence, and Maya met him there. Their kiss was quick. They kept things professional at school, but warm. "Ready?" he asked. "Give me 5 minutes." She gathered her students, got them settled with the assistant teacher, and grabbed her purse. As they walked to his truck, Ethan took her hand. "I have news," he said. "Good news?" "The best. The city approved my proposal. I'm building 3 more playgrounds this year, all in underserved neighborhoods." Maya's face lit up. "Ethan, that's incredible. It's because of you. You showed me what matters. Building things that help people. Using my skills for good." He opened her door. "I'm even hiring Jake to help manage it." "Jake? But he's a bartender." "He's always wanted to learn the trade. Figured I'd give him a shot." Ethan grinned. "Second chances all around." They drove to their favorite diner. Not Miller's, but a small place downtown that made incredible sandwiches. As they ate, Ethan seemed nervous. His leg bounced under the table. "You okay?" Maya asked. "Fine. Just thinking. About? The future. Our future. Maya's heart skipped. What about it? Ethan took a breath. I know it's only been 8 months, and I know we said we'd take things slow, but Maya, I don't want slow anymore. I want forever. He pulled a small box from his pocket. Not wooden this time, velvet. Maya's hands flew to her mouth. Ethan! Wait, let me say this. He opened the box. A simple gold ring with a small diamond sparkled inside. I'm not perfect. I mess up. I still have so much to learn, but I love you with everything I am. You made me want to be better, made me believe I could be. Will you marry me? Tears streamed down Maya's face. Happy tears. Joyful tears. Yes. Yes, of course, yes. He slipped the ring on her finger and kissed her hard. The diner erupted in applause. Other customers had been watching, caught up in the moment. Maya laughed through her tears. This is perfect. You're perfect. I'm not, but I'm yours. That's all that matters. They sat there holding hands, the ring sparkling between them, a symbol of promises, of future, of love that had grown despite everything. Emma had been right all along. He made her smile, and she planned to smile for the rest of her life. The wedding was small and perfect. Late summer, in the backyard of Mrs. Brooks's house. White chairs set up on the grass, flowers everywhere, close friends and family only. Emma was the flower girl, taking her job very seriously. Marcus was the ring bearer, almost dropping the rings twice. Chloe stood as maid of honor, Jake as best man. When Maya walked down the aisle on her mother's arm, Ethan's face crumbled with emotion. She looked stunning in a simple white dress, her natural hair adorned with small flowers. The ceremony was short and sweet. Pastor Williams officiated, smiling the whole time. Do you, Ethan Walker, take Maya Brooks to be your lawfully wedded wife, to love and cherish, in good times and bad, for as long as you both shall live? I do, forever. And do you, Maya Brooks, take Ethan Walker to be your lawfully wedded husband, to love and cherish, in good times and bad, for as long as you both shall live? I do, always. Then by the power vested in me, I pronounce you husband and wife. Ethan, you may kiss your bride. And he did, soft and sweet and full of promise. As they walked back up the aisle together, Maya whispered, no regrets, not a single one, even about that first night? Ethan paused, considering, especially about that first night, because it led to this, to us, and I wouldn't change a thing. The reception was filled with laughter and dancing and joy. Mrs. Brooks cried happy tears. Chloe gave a toast that was equal parts funny and touching. Jake told embarrassing stories about Ethan that made everyone laugh. As the sun set, Ethan and Maya snuck away to the front porch, their quiet moment before rejoining the celebration. How do you feel? Ethan asked. Happy, loved, complete. Maya leaned against him. You, like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. With me, always with you. They kissed as the sky turned orange and pink and purple. Their future stretching out before them like that sunset, full of color and light and beautiful possibility. Ethan had almost left that first night, but he stayed, and staying had brought him home, to Maya, to love, to the man he was always meant to be. Epilogue. 2 years later. The grand opening of Walker Community Playgrounds drew a huge crowd. Ethan had built 20 playgrounds now, all in neighborhoods that needed them most. His company had grown, but he'd kept it small and personal. Quality over quantity. Maya stood beside him, their 1-year-old daughter Grace on her hip. The little girl had her mother's eyes and her father's smile. Dada! Grace pointed at the playground. That's right, baby. Daddy built that. We built that, Ethan corrected, pulling Maya close. Together, like everything else. The mayor gave a speech. Parents thanked Ethan. Children immediately invaded the new playground, their laughter filling the air. Emma, now 7, ran up to Maya. Mrs. Walker, can I play with Grace? Of course, sweetie. Emma took Grace's hand gently. Come on, baby Grace. I'll show you the baby swings. Maya watched them go, her heart full. She'd left teaching last year to work with Ethan full-time, designing playgrounds and running the community outreach program. It felt right. Perfect. You okay? Ethan asked. More than okay. I'm exactly where I want to be. Me too. They stood together watching their daughter play, surrounded by the community they'd helped build. Not just playgrounds, but relationships, trust, hope. Jake walked over with his new girlfriend. Great turnout, boss. Thanks for all your help. Anytime. This is what matters, you know? making a difference. After the ceremony, Maya and Ethan drove to one final stop, Miller's Family Restaurant, their tradition now. Once a month, they came back here, to remember, to celebrate how far they'd come. The same waitress seated them, the same booth, but everything was different. "The usual?" she asked, smiling. "Please," they said together. As they waited for their food, Ethan took Maya's hand across the table. "You know what I was thinking about today?" "What?" "That first night. How terrified I was. How stupid. Ancient history. Is it? Because I think about it sometimes. About how close I came to throwing away the best thing that ever happened to me." Maya squeezed his hand. "But you didn't. You stayed. You changed. You fought for us. Best decision I ever made." "Second best," Maya corrected with a smile. "The best was proposing." "Fair point." Their food arrived. They ate and talked and laughed, comfortable in the life they'd built together. When the check came, there was a note from the waitress. "Thank you for showing us that people can change. You give us all hope." Ethan read it and wiped his eyes. Maya leaned across the table and kissed him. "Come on," she said. "Let's go home." "Home sounds perfect." They walked out hand in hand into the cool evening air. Their truck waited in the parking lot, their daughter asleep in her car seat, their life stretched out before them, full of promise, full of love, full of second chances and new beginnings. Ethan had almost left that first night, but he stayed, and staying had been everything.